Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
These are our favorite hermit crab shirts.
Oh, yeah. My mother started buying me hermit crab shirts because of my weird obsession with hermit crabs.
There's only so many hermit crabs you can collect, so then you start collecting memorabilia instead.
Thank you.
All right, we'll just give everybody kind of about a minute to just, if anybody else is going to come in, might not be a big session. I know everybody's eating lunch, but.
So how's everybody enjoying CrabCon?
Awesome.
Good. I am very glad that you two are enjoying CrabCon.
Oh, well, welcome. For sure, this is only our second, so very exciting. Oh, goodness.
Oh,
3:30
where are you?
Where are you, Vanessa?
I'm checking my imaginary watch.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Oh. Well, welcome. People all over the world. Very cool.
Oh. I'm in.
Okay. All right, so we started off with a poll. What do you guys feed your crabbies? I know everybody's a little bit different. Obviously, that variety is really important, but we'll go ahead and get started because it's just about 1:30 now, and maybe some more people will join us. We're really excited to be here. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Welcome to Chopped, Exploring Crab Cuisine with Colton. I'm Stephanie, and obviously
I'm Colton.
That's Colton. So we just wanted to. We are really excited to share with you guys kind of our passion in what we feed our hermit crabs. So just to give you guys a real quick little background, just so you kind of understand where we came from with this. So I am the store manager for a big box pet chain. Before you chase me down the road with pitchforks and torches and everything like that, I'll kind of give you guys my perspective on that. So I spend a lot of time with education and making sure that people go home with crabbies, all my animals really, to a proper home. Husbandry is really important, and no pet is disposable or throwaway, especially our little Hermes. So I spend a lot of time making sure that we have all the things that they need and all the things that they go home with the right environment, and they go home with plenty of non-painted shells to change out of when they get home. The way I figure it, I've got two options. I can be part of the solution, and I can be that last defense for those hermit crabs and make sure that anytime that they, that these students and teachers and parents are well educated before they take home their new Hermie friend, or I can not sell them and then they won't stop buying them. They're just going to go somewhere else. And that person that helps them may not be that person that's going to really help them and make sure that they get everything that they need. So that breaks my heart. And until we get the right legislation and education of the community.
Thank you, Brianna.
And until we get the right legislation of the community, and education of the community, and a successful captive breeding program, until that, this is how I do my part, and this is how I make sure that I can be on the front lines to help educate and grow that love for Hermes. So that being said, I've been taking care of hermit crabs a little over 20 years now, but our passion really sparked, I'd say 3 years ago.
My birthday.
Yeah, brought over home a couple of very large hermit crabs that were relinquished to my store. A woman threw her hands up, and I took them home, and never been the same since. So we fell in love with them. He became obsessed. I think that's all he talks about. And I just became fascinated with them. And, I'll work with anybody that'll listen. So, of course, with anything that you really, really love, you want to feed it the best, right? You want to give it the best foods. And what I found, and anybody can agree, is that pet stores don't really have a great selection of foods. So when I sell these hermit crabs, what do they go home with? They got to go home with the food, right? And I don't want to sell some of that commercial stuff and everything like that, because variety is the key, right? So hermit crabs rarely eat the same thing twice in 24 hours. So we want to give them a lot of variety. And what I found through my research and everything is that there are a ton of things that I can sell them in a pet store that are in all different departments of the store. And by doing so, we get them a really good balanced diet and all sorts of fun variety without having to send them somewhere else for the food. So they get to go home with the food and everything like that. So everything that we use can be found really easily, either in a pet store or even like your grocery stores, stuff like that. Pretty much everything we have falls into that category if you just kind of think outside the box. So what we're going to kind of do here is go through some of the foods. Colin's going to kind of show you how we prepare it and then what we do with it. And I'll go through some of the brands, but honestly, guys.
And I would like to say that you do not have to do any of this. None of this is required. This is just how we do it. This is our personal choice. We're just showing you kind of the things we use. We're also going to show you some ingredients that we don't really use.
Yeah, like we may not use all the ingredients for this example, but we want to make sure that you guys see, we change it up and things change all the time for us. But we want to give you guys some great ideas because when you're out shopping and you're thinking to yourself, sometimes you don't think about all the places that you can find hermit crab food in unexpected places.
Before you ever put a new ingredient in your food, always research it to make sure it is hermit crab safe, healthy, nutritious, and it provides some value to them. Because we don't want to give our beloved family members something that may hurt them or even just may not be desirable. We want them to be as happy as they can possibly be.
So we had our hermit crabs test all of these foods. So these are all foods that are hermit crab approved by them. I think, what is it, 2 minutes? Is that that's the magic number about the amount of time that once we put the food down, you start seeing them come out of the woodwork for
maximum
it.
2 minutes.
So we know that they love it and we love to change it up and they get excited about the food. So without further ado, we'll have Colton kind of start us off with kind of how our process is.
Thank you for that introduction, Lauren. Okay, so I'm going to take out our trusty food processor. You can use whatever food processor you want. We use, just, I don't even know. But just needs a blade. So I'm going to take off the lid because that's usually given. And also with any food processor, please don't stick your hands in that. I know it's a given. But even blades that aren't spinning can still hurt you. Even if they don't look sharp, they are metal blades and they are sharp. Please do not touch them.
And Hunter, honestly, when we made this, so it's really easy. I work like 60 to 80 hours a week. So like I don't have a lot of time to make all of their crab food. This makes it so easy. These are like $20. You can get them from Walmart. You can get them from Amazon. These are super easy. We just dump all the ingredients in there.
And crush them.
Yeah, we just dump all the ingredients in there and turn it on. And so it's really, really easy. So what are we going to start with first, Colton?
So first we're going to start with our trusty omnivore mix.
Okay, so what we have here, so I buy the Zilla. This is the omnivore mix. This is meant for reptiles. You can get it for like bearded dragons, stuff like this. They changed their packaging, so it looks a little bit different. But basically, this is just going to have kind of, I use this as a base because it's got lots of good stuff in it. It's got bok choy, it's got zucchini, green beans, dehydrated peas, bananas, carrots, and crickets, mealworms, and silkworm pupa. So it's just like a good basics. That's a great start. If you fed nothing else, like that's a great variety and everything like that. So we usually will pop that in. And you can get any brand of these. It doesn't really matter. Hold on, technical difficulties opening the package. Okay, there we go.
Anyway, ignore that. You can fill it as much as you want, but I just like to kind of sprinkle it around and cover it. Soak a gel package?
Yeah, keeps it dry. We're good.
Anyway, we're just gonna fill it up so that I can't see the bottom of the processor. Just as a nice base, it has a lot of nice ingredients, so it makes a very nice base for it. La-di-da. And here you go, mother. So we've got that. We've got our base, as you can see here. Voila. Then we are going to put in our flour topper food.
Okay, so I've got a couple of these things. These are all great, different brands. So this is like, you would find in like your small animal habitats or your small animal department. These are just a flowers and berries mix. This one is a flour topper mix that's like for tortoises and turtles. And then this one over here is like for reptiles, lizards, stuff like that. So you can use any and all of these. They all have kind of different ingredients. And everything like that. But I think I've got the flour topper open here already. So we'll just dump in some of that. But this particular one has blue corn flowers, chamomile flowers, dried blue mallow flowers, red corn flowers, and dried rose petals. So this one's just an easy peasy mix as well.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Crab.
I was a crab.
Again, just like last time, I'm going to cover the previous layer so that I really can't see it. And we're out of this.
Nope. Then I'll go buy more.
Just kind of make sure it's all in the bottom so that it doesn't take up too much room. Also, if it fills up too fast, you can cover it with the lid, blend it, and then keep filling in stuff. It won't matter. It'll all be evenly mixed in the end, so that's really nice. So you have pretty much infinite room in this thing. It's amazing. You can put whatever you want. You can put a person in there.
No, don't. Disclaimer, do not put a person in there.
It was an example. Anyway, okay, next on our glorious list, hermit crab cuisine.
The hermit crab cuisine? Is that what you just said?
They do smell good, by the way. I agree.
This is one of the only commercial foods that I feed. And this is, interestingly enough, this is actually it's marketed for aquatic hermit crabs, but it actually has directions on the back for land hermit crabs if you're going to feed it. Hikari is a really pretty good brand, but I only use this as like kind of a sprinkle, just to add some extra vitamins and nutrients, just in case something that I add doesn't kind of have the gap, like just to fill in the gaps and anything like that. But this is one of the only commercial foods that I use for them. I use only a couple. Yeah.
So we're just gonna sprinkle that in a moment. Okay. We're just gonna kind of sprinkle it. We're not gonna make a whole layer out of it.
Just a little sprinkle. It'll mix in there with it, and I just use it as a little extra flavor.
Yeah. So
there's just like a little pellet.
So far we have this glorious mixture. We can see the layers there. We've got the flour topper and our base. It's delicious, I assume.
Yes, Bonnie, teenage humor.
Next up, we're gonna use some beef heart. Gotta have some meat in there, but we gotta break it up. We're not gonna leave in chunks because it won't blend properly.
So for this, I use the Stella and Chewy beef heart, and I just use a little bit of this just to add a little bit of extra flavor. They really like it. It's super flavorful, and it just comes in like these nuggets, which we break up, and I probably only do a couple of them.
They're very easy to break up if I had any strength whatsoever, but I did do it.
And if you can't break them up, you can just throw them in there, and they'll get.
So we just put in some chunks of those. It's not, again, really a layer. Okay. Next up, salmon.
Oh, so for these single ingredient things are great from your local pet store. So we sell a whole line of different things like that. So like, this one's salmon, we sell shrimp, we sell all sorts of things. So look for these like single ingredient things all around your local pet store. These are really great. Doesn't really matter what brand it is, as I said before. But these are just literally freeze-dried pieces of salmon. It's one ingredient, doesn't have anything else. They're like little, I don't know if you can see, but they're like little chunks there. And we just sprinkle a few of those in there and add that in there too.
Again, not a layer. We haven't done any real layers on it. We're just kind of sprinkling in the flavoring, the essence of the dish. Here you go, madame.
Essence.
Next up, we're going to need some tuna flakes, a.k.a. cat sushi.
Okay, so this one is a fan favorite for them. These are, if you guys have never seen these before at your local pet store, these are great. These are just bonita flakes. They're just little tuna flakes, and they are really, really fine. You can even feed them as a treat sometimes. They're literally like paper thin little poofy treats, and they are just fantastic. For them, they love it so much. So you can have those as a treat as well. Yes, your cats and Hermes can share. We have a rabbit as well, and we share a lot of stuff.
I'm just going to kind of make a kind of layer on it. Yeah. I'm just going to kind of cover everything in these. Get a nice amount. They do love these. So far, we have this. It's about this high in the dish because we haven't blended it yet. We have all this covered in delicious and nutritious items for our hermits. Next up, we're going to need river shrimp.
Okay. So this is another one where I said it doesn't matter the brand. So here, like this is river shrimp sold by Zilla. This is river shrimp sold by Zoomed. Those are both popular reptile brands.
Very popular.
So you've probably seen them once or twice if you've ever done that. But it doesn't really matter what. It's a single ingredient, so it doesn't matter the brand. Whatever you can find, every store is going to be different.
Now we're going to make kind of a layer with these. Actually, I'm going to show this one to the camera. So we're going to do it until the entire previous base is covered. Yeah, get them nice and neat. Yep. Okay. Just make sure it's nice and even. Oh yeah, delicious. And this is empty too.
All right.
Okay, next up, we're gonna need some minnows.
Okay, so this is another cat treat that I find in the cat department. These are literally freeze-dried minnows. They are just a bag, single ingredient. Pure Bites makes a lot of great single ingredients, so if you're ever finding those. But these are literally whole minnows.
If you're squeamish, don't look at the faces. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
He doesn't like that.
Sometimes we break them up.
Just throw them in there for now.
You can just throw them in. I'm just gonna put like 3 in there. You don't need much. Just kind of space them evenly throughout. Make them delicious because it looks fancy. It looks fancy, and we want to present it deliciously and fancy. Next up, we're gonna need some torn snake skin.
Okay, so this is one of those few ingredients where you might struggle to get it at your local pet store. But I will tell you, so this is their favorite food. This is snake skin. This is probably one of their favorites, but I will tell you guys, if you don't have access to getting snake skins, which your average person probably doesn't, I would probably go to your local pet store and ask them. If they've got snakes, be like, hey, look, if you get a shed, would it be too much trouble for you to just put it in a Ziploc bag for me and I'll come and pick it up? My hermit crabs love it. And a lot of people will just do that.
Depending on your food processor, like ours, you will want to tear this up just in case you don't want it tangling in the blades. So I'm just going to tear it up into small pieces, kind of throw them in there, make it all nice. And put the rest away for later.
And this is our last ingredient.
I think we have like 2 more.
Okay, here we go.
So next up, we're going to need mealworm.
Okay. This one is mixed in with some of the other stuff that we have, but we just add a little bit extra. This particular one is the Flukers mealworms, just freeze-dried mealworms. Okay.
I can open a screw top, thank you very much. I'm very strong. And then we're just going to put a little layer of that on. It doesn't have to be super thick because mealworms are very tiny, so it can be very difficult for you to get a really thick layer of them. So just put it however much you want. They're very tiny. And then next up, we're going to do our peanut butter crunchies.
So this is one of the only other commercial ones that I use. This is just a hermit crab crunchies peanut butter treat. I just like the way that they're in sort of like a pellet type of thing, and we grind those up. They grind up really nicely, so I like those a lot as far as just adding those. And again, this just got vitamins, minerals in it, and some peanuts. It's just
so I'm gonna do not a full layer. I'm just gonna put in some. They're just delicious for them. Thank you, Mother. Now we need, last but not least, seaweed.
Seaweed, yes.
Almost forgot
the seaweed. They would be so mad at you.
They would be.
For this one, I just use any green seaweed. You can get marines. These are for aquatic, usually aquatic fish, things like tangs and all sorts of things eat these. So these are really easy to come across in your saltwater marine department. It just comes in sheets. And we just literally crumble it up, break it up, and throw it in.
I'm going to crumble this up over the thing because this will go everywhere. Because I'm a very messy child. Any questions?
Oh, Tanya, you haven't found anything your hermit crabs love yet? Oh, that's so sad. Try this kind of stuff. You're bound to get. Sometimes if you get a mixture.
They die for snakeskin.
Yeah, they like
their favorite. We used to just leave it around in the tank, like hanging off stuff sometimes, and they would pull it up and like cut it up themselves and eat it.
That's so funny, Brianna.
I'm just making sure it fits. Got a lot in here. And then last but not least, our broken up cuttle bone.
Okay, so this is how we do our calcium. So obviously they need the calcium, but we don't do it in like the blocks. If I do it in like the blocks and stuff like that, they steal it and they walk away with it. So what we do is we actually mix it into their food so that they can't get it. This is the one where I really like this brand. So ZooMed sells this turtle bone. These are for aquatic turtles to chew on for calcium, but they're bigger than most of your ones that you would get from like your birds. So I like these a lot. And all we do, we're not going to do it for sake of time, but we're going to break it up and put it in there generally.
What you have to do is you can break it up with your hands, but when it gets smaller, it's a bit harder. So if you still want to break it up, you can use pliers to like crush it up. But when you put it in there, it's going to take up some space. So you should blend it and then put it in. Also, when blending it up, it will be loud and dusty, very dusty, fine powder. So take like a towel or something and put it over the lid if your lid has holes in it. And wear a mask if you're sensitive. Yeah. Wear a mask. And when you open it, make sure it's somewhere where you can clean it up. It'll be messy.
It's a little messy, but it works really well, and they really love it because it gets it into little chunks, and they like it. They like it a lot.
And so using the power of already having another food processor.
Really quick while you're doing that up, look at how quick that happened.
Whoa! I blended it silently.
That was amazing.
For the sake of time and noise levels, we're not going to blend it on camera.
I want to look at one more ingredient, though. I do want to tell you guys, don't forget things like these. So these are bloodworms. I don't know if you guys can see. So these are just freeze-dried bloodworms. They really love these as well. This is something that would be kind of naturally occurring on lakes and streams. They come from mosquito larvae. So these are they really like these, highly nutritious as well. And it doesn't matter what brand. Like this is also the beta ones that they sell. So you could do either one. Those are just a great option as well. So when you blend it all together, it's going to look just like that.
You're going to want it to be mostly a fine powder because they do have very tiny mouths, but you don't want it completely the same texture. They like some excitement in their lives. So you can see some slightly larger chunks, but nothing too big that they have to actually break it up. They're just going to pick off pieces. They love it. We just put about a spoonful in our bowl, a few scoops. And they immediately start running to this. They love this stuff. Call it Mommy's Magic Crab Mix.
And then at the end, we just generally, when we put it in the dish, we sprinkle on some coconut, just dried coconut. We keep this refrigerated, so that's why we don't add it to the mix, because we keep the mix in a Tupperware container. So we add this. This is like their favorite, like probably that snake skin. And
some of them have a habit
of that is just like the best. So if you do have a hermit crab that's having some trouble getting to the bowl or eating or anything like that, these are great enticers to try to get them to eat. Yes, Colleen, I will see if we can share a list.
I literally have a list right here.
So we can try to share that. But the idea behind it is like, look at other places. We have stuff here from birds, small animals, reptiles, fish, everywhere. So it's every department in your local pet store, or we even have like this you can get from CVS. Like I got that from CVS. It's just a deluxe fruit mix, and it's just mixes of freeze-dried fruits and berries and stuff like that. And they're great. They love it. They mix up well in there, and then they're great. It's great. It's not even like a recipe.
How would we share the recipe?
We can share a list of the ingredients and stuff like that, so you guys can have some ideas. That's absolutely perfect. So we have probably about 10 minutes. Do you guys have any questions?
I can show this on camera and see if you could read it.
Yeah, your handwriting is rough.
Never mind.
We'll type that out.
We'll figure it out.
Did you guys have any questions? I hope that was really informative. I hope that was helpful to anybody.
We have 40 crabs
at least. They all bury themselves. So,
I do believe we have 40. I've been keeping count.
Yeah, I think he's right. Oh, that makes me feel so good.
Thank you so much.
I
was so nervous. I was dying.
He was super nervous.
How much do I serve per crab? Well,
we do about 3 teaspoons.
Yeah, I do 3 or 4. They share really well. They only take as much as they need, and then they leave. There's usually some left over. So really a scoop per every 10 crabs. Yeah.
So we have several bowls. Like we'll put several bowls in there if they seem like they're, not sharing well. But when we put it in, we only maybe do like 3 teaspoons or so of it. Because we change it out often. I don't want to waste a whole lot of it, but they eat it really fast and they eat it really well. And we're not even having a big problem with like our isopods eating it even. So we're not even having like a problem with that. So it's pretty good. They kind of stay away. The dish is a little bit raised, so they don't get in there too much. So it's good.
No, our hermit crabs are very kind to each other. They share. Sharing is caring.
Yeah, these are great ways to feed your hermit crabs without these are the things I send home with my customers.
Thank you all so much for your support.
It's tough, man. There's not a lot of stuff that's commercially available just to go to your store and buy. So I really love being able to send people home with things like these. And when they realize how much fun different foods they can do, a lot of them get really into it.
Yeah, soon we'll be.
Thank you, Ashley.
Probably cooking.
She said you rock.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you all for your support. You have been so kind and so generous with your comments. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for the confetti.
Absolutely. Yay, confetti.
Thank you guys so much. You are all so amazing. And thank you for this opportunity to come on CrabCon. This has been a dream come true. I am just flabbergasted. it feels like a dream. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, Allison, the single ingredients have become so, because that's what people are feeding their pets, like their dogs, their cats, stuff like that. So the single ingredients have become really, really prevalent, and it's great to capitalize on that. So I definitely recommend that.
Confetti.
To the crab claws. It's a new tradition. Crab claws.
Hermit crabs forever.
My eyes. Yeah, it's funny. I think if you get a little bit, yeah, ours are breeding like ridiculous. But if then I collect them and then feed them to my frogs. But if we sometimes if you raise up the dish or you make the dish not so easy to get into, sometimes that can help keep the acid pods out
How
of
long
that.
does the mix stay good for?
We put it in. So we put it in one of these like type of containers here, and I keep it in there with like a scoop. And I just put like 3 teaspoons. It's a teaspoon scoop. Usually I put like 3 teaspoons in there, and it stays good. I've never had it go bad. I mean, I have a lot of hermit crabs, but I would say if you're concerned, make a little less, but a month or more. I mean, there's no ingredients in it that are really, they're all freeze dried. So if you keep
coconut, but we only put that in the bowl.
If you keep it sealed, I mean, there's no air getting to it. It should stay good for a really, really long time.
Yeah, it's airtight.
Oh, you're awesome, Randy.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you so much. That is really helpful.
Yeah. All right, Randy put up a little list for you guys. That's awesome. Yeah, and if you guys, you guys can reach out to us directly. I don't know if anybody can reach out to me. My email address is sroth2136@gmail.com. If you guys have questions or anything like that, or you want a list or anything, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm always here to help anybody. Colton's like, you should market this, but I'm like, there's just no.
I call it Mommy's Magic Crab Mix.
There's no exact science to this, and it's just the Colton Special. We'll call it that. I like that, Colton Special Mix. But it's just, and sometimes we go to the store, we're like, ooh, I bet they would like these, and we get something different. Here or there. So
I like the Roth Special.
The Roth Special.
Ours. Both of us. The Roth Special is the official name.
SROTH, like S Roth 2136@gmail. Actually, I can just type it in here.
How do I post something on the CrabCon page?
I have no idea. Let me write this in here.
Yeah, looks
all right. There's my email address, so you guys can. Yep, there is my email address. Yeah, and you guys, and we are on the crab. We are on the Hermit Crab Facebook page as well for that. So you guys can reach out to us in any way if you guys have questions. I know this is only a 30-minute thing, so it's not very in depth. We had to try to truncate and keep it as short as possible for you guys.
We did our best.
But if you guys have...
This is the abridged version.
Yes, this is the abridged version. We spend a lot of time doing it. But as you can see, you can do it all in like 15 minutes. You can put together an entire...
Also, another disclaimer, do take out the silica gel pack.
Yes, do take those out.
Hermit crabs may think the stuff inside looks so delicious, but it's
not. But I really appreciate all of you guys. I know he appreciates you guys.
I appreciate you more than you will ever know.
We love doing this, and this is our passion. And
thank you. We do have an energy between us, don't we?
He's a good kid. I'm a lucky mom.
I'm a lucky kid. I have a good mom.
He says that on camera, and then he beats me later. I'm just kidding.
I never.
Thank you guys, and so if you guys have anything else,
Rebecca.
3 minutes left.
I really appreciate
otherwise, I just really, really appreciate all the love and stuff. That makes me feel really good. This is our first social media sort of experience.
I never go on social media.
Yeah,
I try to stay away from it. So this is crazy interacting with people. I'm like, ooh.
Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate that. I try.
I try to raise a great mom who's obsessed with hermit crabs.
Yeah, well.
I'm trying my best to make her obsessed with hermit crabs.
I'm like the crazy hermit crab lady at work. They I'm like,
crazy
kid. You want to talk to Stephanie? I'm like, no. I'm gonna go hide in the back. No, because I'll talk to them for like hours.
Your show. Well, is there any other questions? comments, concerns.
Oh, I thought there was something else. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm happy to be in a community of people
you're that lady
who don't look down on me. I am that lady, and I'm okay with it.
Everyone looks down on you. You're short.
Well, yeah, that's true. Pot calling the kettle black.
You made me this.
Kid's 16.
I am officially 5 foot. Yes, I think we have like 1 or 2 Ecuadorian crabs.
Yeah, we have a variety. Honestly, most of mine are what I would call rescues from, the pet trade. So like a lot of them are ones that I buy from, if I come across a hermit crab that has too small of a shell, or I feel like he really needs to go home, or he's like missing a leg or like something like that. Those are the ones that I'll typically buy.
When we first got our first 2 hermit crabs, when we moved them to the larger tank, my mother bought every hermit crab in the store, all 21 of them.
I was upset.
We had lost one of the first 2 hermit crabs, and now the hermit crab was alone.
But we have spent a lot of time when we put them in their habitat, they just most of them immediately change shells out of the purple or out of the painted shells. And we have all of the painted shells to prove how many we have changed out. So they're all in.
We are going to try and melt the paint off those so that they're back to normal, because the paint is scraping off some of those. So we are going to try and put them in an acidic bath and get the paint off them, because they're good shells and it would be a waste.
Yeah. So we like to do the rescue. We like all the sad cases, but it makes me feel good when they thrive, and we change them out. So we do a good job.
We got one that I named Pegleg, who completely grew back his large claw and is now a very happy crab with his own personality, his own life, and I'm very happy to see him thriving along with all of our many crabs.
Yes, I keep all my painted shells. We're going to figure out how to repurpose them and maybe make them, back to the way that they were. So maybe they're still usable for.
Oh yeah, they grow little gel nubs on their claws, all of them. There was a story about a hermit crab named Homie who was found in a Home Depot parking lot.
Perfect pets are the best.
With no limbs, and they all grew back after a long recovery. So they grow their limbs back.
Yes. Well, guys, I appreciate it. I guess it's 2:00, so that is our time. But if you guys need anything,
the only perfect pets are imperfect ones.
Yes, that is true. We love you guys. Thank you. Happy CrabCon. Finish up strong.
Happy CrabCon.
See you at the call to action.